Hey, it's April 25th, and we find ourselves in First Chronicles chapters 3 through 5. Yes, more genealogy, but remember, Ezra is reminding the newly freed Israelites who are returning back after the Babylonian captivity about who they are, where they came from, and the promises that God had made them, specifically the land of Israel. He starts this section with the genealogy of King David's family, then moves on to David's tribe of Judah and the tribe of Simeon, both of them located in southern Israel. Then he moves east to the 2.5 tribes on the east side of the Jordan River, Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. The seemingly endless list of names, which all sound like they should be in some kind of medieval story, is interrupted by 5 quick historical observations that we're going to take a look at. In chapter 4, listing off the descendants of Judah and Simeon, verse 10 says that Jabez called upon the God of Israel, saying, "Oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my border, and that your hand might be with me, and that you would keep me from harm, so that it might not bring me pain." And God granted what he asked. Now, a big deal was made about this prayer in the early 2000s in a book called The Prayer of Jabez. It promoted the prayer as a kind of magic formula to pray to increase your own possessions and prosperity. What this prayer really is an actual prayer from an actual man named Jabez that God actually answered for Jabez. I love the rebuttal book that was written titled, "I Just Wanted More Land." Now, we'll talk about this a little bit later. In verse 27, moving on to the tribe of Simeon, it says, Shimei had 16 sons and 6 daughters. But his brothers did not have many children, nor did all their clan multiply like the men of Judah. And what we're seeing is Israel's punishment on Simeon in Genesis 49, verses 5 through 7. Due to what he did along with his brother Levi. They would be scattered and dispersed among all of the other tribes, and this continues to happen. Chapter 5 moves into the descendants of Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh on the east side of the Jordan River. Verse 1 says, "The sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for he was the firstborn, but because he defiled his father's couch, his birthright was given to the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel, so that he could not be enrolled as the oldest son." All of that is recorded in Genesis 35 and 49 to remind the tribe of Reuben why their tribe did not receive the blessing of the firstborn. However, in verse 18 it says that the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh had valiant men who carried shield and sword and drew the bow, expert in war. And this is an encouraging statement that Ezra is saying, this could be you again. But there comes a warning in verses 25 and 26. Verse 25, "But they," referring to Manasseh, "broke faith with the God of their fathers, and went after the gods of the peoples of the land, whom God had destroyed before them. So the God of Israel stirred up the spirit of the king of Assyria, and he took them into exile." You see, sin has its consequences, and God's patience does have a limit. This is something the tribe of Manasseh learned in the past, and Ezra was encouraging them not to repeat again in the future. So what can we take away from today's passage? First, God does answer prayer. Jabez, the text tells us, was a righteous man. And James 5:16 says that the prayer of a righteous person has great power. James 4 reminds us that we miss out on many things when we don't ask God or we ask with selfish motives. But God does answer the prayers of his people when what we ask for is an agreement with God's will for our lives. Second, sin affects more than just the person who does it. Because of Reuben, Simeon, and the tribe of Manasseh's sins, their ancestors would be affected for hundreds of years. And third, knowing how God worked in the past can inspire us now. The 2.5 tribes on the east of the Jordan were once great when they followed God. This genealogy was telling them that they could be again. My prayer for us today is that we become people of prayer, seeking God's will for our lives, asking for what is needed, and seeing God provide. That we would heed the warnings of Scripture, resisting sin's temptations, knowing that the negative consequences will affect far more people than we could possibly imagine. And third, that we be inspired by the godly examples that we do have in Scripture. God worked through his people in great and amazing ways in the past. He still does today. Pursue his will for your life, and he will work through you too. If you haven't done so already, please download our Through the Bible reading plan at AsperiaCommunityChurch.org/throughthebible. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.